As a member of the African American community, I can tell you wholeheartedly, black folks are dealing with the issues of slavery still today. Because there's a whole lot of folks that will not, just can't get past this thing that Christianity thought it was the cool way to keep us enslaved. There's not a shortage of black men in faith. Don't get fooled. They just don't want to be Christian. Come with me to the mosque. Oh, you'll find lots of black men. But that's what happens when our sin supersedes the saving ability of the gospel. And I know that sounds blasphemous. Like, how can you say that? But there are some times that our sin can be such a stumbling block to the individual that they can't possibly hear God's gospel from you. And that's why relationship with each other matters. Lastly, I'm closing out. He says, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Paul knows how to close. I need you to see this. The ministry of reconciliation is supposed to be a picture of the cross. That Jesus himself, with folks who were mocking him, people who were abusing him, were beating him, were spitting upon him, were dogging him, were treating him as less than a human being. They were calling him names. They were, get off the cross. They had marginalized him beyond compare. He had nothing in common with them anymore. They were now over him in their minds. Jesus himself, he stood in the gap for the very people, who are marginalizing him now. For the very people. And I need you to understand what it means to be a reconciler. You are called to stand in the gap. You are called to be an advocate to God. There are those who won't agree with you, who won't like you, who won't understand you, who won't want to listen to you, who may want to rob you, who may want to beat you, who don't even understand or care anything about what you stand for, who don't even get your purpose in your ministry on earth, who don't have a clue why you're here, who don't even understand that what you're doing is for their behalf. And your job is to stand in the gap, to be an interceder to God for them. And not only to intercede to God, but at the same time say, Father, forgive them. For they don't know. And I urge you to be a picture of the cross. You are in the ministry. The ministry of reconciling. But before you can go run and reconcile people to God, it becomes crucial that you reconcile people to each other. On all this, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Watch this. On this, all the law and the prophets hang. There's some of us in the room who have broken relationships, people we're struggling to forgive, things we're struggling to let go of, certain people we really don't want to deal with based on past issues and past pain. You're in the ministry of reconciliation and reconciling people to God. is coupled by reconciling people to you. And so today I challenge you and I charge you to accept the ministry, to use the truth, and yourself to truly be reconciled to God.